Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive! This week, I continue my series on Battletech by moving on to talk about the clans. The clans are one of those sort of divisive groups because, at least the fan base, because when they showed up, they literally changed the game. They changed it in a number of ways, but the big thing is they brought a lot of advanced technology with them and new types of mechs that, well, were completely new to the setting at the time. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy as I talk about the Warriors of Kerensky. So, remember way back in this series when I mentioned how during the fall of the Star League, General Alexander Kerensky left the Inner Sphere to parts unknown with 80% of the Star League Defense Force and a good chunk of the Star League Corps of Engineers with him? Ever wonder what happened to them? The clans. That's what happened to them. No, they weren't attacked by the clans. They became the clans. You see, Kerensky led his people to what would eventually be a promised land, or what he hoped would be. It was 5 worlds called the Pentagon Worlds. And these were harsh worlds, but with the skill of the Star League Corps of Engineers, with their technical knowledge and their will to do what was necessary to survive, the worlds became thriving colonies. Or at least functional colonies. But, unfortunately, all things sort of come to an end. And, the Star League Defense Force and the people who came with Kerensky were from all different points of origin. And factionalism started springing up. And once that factionalism started springing up, people started not getting along, and suddenly there was a civil war. The exact instigating events don't really matter. What matters is that General Kerensky was killed, and his 2 sons, Nicholas and Andrei Kerensky, along with a group of people who were loyal to them and to the memory of General Kerensky, fled to another nearby world. Now, this other world had been discovered about a year or so prior to the starting of hostility, but hadn't been colonized yet. This world became known as Strana Mechti. And it is from this world, and from these warriors he brought with him, that Nicholas Kerensky created the background of a new society, the backbone of a new society. It would be a warrior society, because he realized that peace makes people complacent and allows rivalries to fester. But it would be a warrior society built around a strictish code of honor. It would take time for that code of honor to develop, mind you, but it would develop. And from the people who Nicholas brought with him, he selected 400 warriors. These 400 he divided into 20 clans. With the exception of Clan Blood Spirit, each of these clans was named after an animal. Blood Spirit was named for the esprit de corps that they were supposed to help foster between the other clans. Blood Spirit has a tragic history that I will go into much later. Probably in a totally different series. But from these 20 clans with 20 warriors each, Nicholas returned to the Pentagon worlds. Now, each world got 4 clans to it. Got 4 clans assigned to it. And these 4 clans, these 80 warriors, who were in the most advanced tech mechs that could be fielded at the time, would fight a whole planet and would eventually take them. It was actually a swift and brutal war, lasting about a year. And following that, the clans emerged as the culture. Some of them took warriors who proved worthy from among the opposing forces, and they began recruiting and developing. And in these initial days, the technologies of the Iron Womb, the artificial wombs that Nicholas Kerensky would make as his ideal goal, were not quite perfected. So in these early days, clan warriors bred normally. But eventually, the scientist caste that would be built would develop technology for artificial gestation of people. And these would slowly, over a couple generations, come to dominate the clans. These would be called the Trueborn. And ultimately, they were Nicholas Kerensky's ultimate goal. They allowed each of the clans, each of the bloodlines, to be controlled, manipulated, and improved, as essentially the clans began developing into super warriors, super soldiers. And eventually, their society would develop its code of honor, Zelbriggen, and would split into 2 philosophical groups: the Wardens and the Crusaders. And these ideologies would come into the backbone of clan society. In fact, these are how the clans govern themselves and decide everything, to a degree. So let's start talking about the clan society. So I'm trying to keep this shortish, but I know it's going to be a bit, so just bear with me. I know I'm going to leave stuff out, but I'm going to be touching the highlights here. So, first, the clans are built on a caste-based society. At the absolute bottom, as in so far at the bottom, they're not even part of the caste society, are what are called the Dark Caste. These are bandits, pirates, those who have so dishonored themselves that they've been cast out from their clan. Ultimately, they're not even considered people. they don't get treated with honor. They get put down whenever they're encountered. During the initial stages of the clan invasion, the clans were dealing with the pirates in the outer rim, the outward periphery, and they just slaughtered their way through them. No mercy, no patrols, which I'll get to in a bit. Nothing. They just killed them. Because they were effectively dark caste. Now, at the actual bottom of clan society, as in these people have value, are the laborer caste. Now, the laborer caste is called the laborer caste, but it's a lot more than just that. The laborer caste are the people who do the building of everything, the grunt work, but they're also the people who do what little art goes through the clans. They're the people who do the entertainment of the masses. Because you have to have entertainment to keep people placated. Now, just above the laborer caste is these two castes kind of flip-flop in importance, and some clans put one at more significance than the other, but these two kind of over time will go through changes in how they're ranked. But the scientist and technician castes. The technician castes are considered important because they maintain the weapons of war. They maintain the equipment for the warrior caste, whether it be an elemental battle armor, a direwolf omni-mech, or the various vehicles sometimes used by some clans. The scientist caste are important because they develop the new stuff. They improve the weapons of war. It's like the PPC. First you had the Inner Sphere Starleague era ERPPC. Then the not named clan developed the enhanced ERPPC, which had the same range as an ERPPC, but packed more of a punch up close. Then you had developed the clan ERPPC, which extended that impact damage out further, though they still had the same range as the Inner Sphere ERPPC. The scientists would reduce the weight of some tech, or make it better, or then they would just develop new stuff. Like for instance, the Advanced Tactical Missile System. Or, the power armors as they would come to be known when they invade the Inner Sphere. The elemental suits. Or just that revolutionary development, the Omni-Mech. Where a mech could have weapons and equipment swapped out through it being loaded in pods. Just a quick... Oh, this laser needs to be replaced. Just pull it out, put in a new laser. Or, we're getting ready to fight on a world that's got a lot of deep ravines. Let's put jump jets on this mech. That's that sort of thing. And that's what the scientist caste does. So, the scientist and technician caste are kind of even in importance. The warrior caste couldn't do its job without either of them, though the technician caste slightly gets a little bit more importance. Just a little bit. Just because they maintain the mech warriors, mechs. And then at the very top of the society is the warriors. And even in the warriors, you have stratification. Alright, so at the bottom of the warrior caste are the freeborns. They're born through the method of when a man and a woman like each other very, very much, they are generally considered expendable. There's only one thing actually below them. The Salama. The old warriors. Who are literally expendable. Who are literally sent out into battle to die gloriously so that they don't have the humiliation of dying of old age. So you have the Salama, you have the freeborn warriors, you have the rank and file trueborn. These are the ones who are born through test tubes and an iron womb. And trueborn warriors are trained from about 5 years old. Some clans start younger. But they're basically trained from as soon as they are able to handle a weapon. And they are trained harshly. There's stages in training where it's not, oh, you did badly, you wash out. It's more, oh, you did badly, you're dead. Some clans, Clan Blood Spirit, have an even harsher training method. Blood Spirit is actually known to have the highest casualty rate among training in all the clans. Just saying. But you have the trueborns, and then, of course, you have the different ranks. But within this stratification, each clan has a ruling council of warriors. These ruling council of warriors are the entirety of the best of the best. These are the blood-named warriors. In order to get a blood name, you, in most cases, have to be a trueborn warrior. You get the blood name of your matrilineal line. So, if your gene mother was a Kerensky and your gene father was a Church, you're qualified only for the Kerensky blood name. And this is important. You see, to understand how one gets a blood name, I have to talk about the trial system. So, hold it right there. We'll come back to the trials, because at the top of every clan are 2 warriors. These 2 are selected by the blood-named warriors from among the blood-named warriors. These are the Khan and the Sakhan. And these are the rulers of the clans, of each individual clan. Now, in times of great crisis or strife among all the clans, or where there's something going on, the development of the Omni-Mech, where it needs to have a impartial person overseeing it, the Khans and Sakhans of all the clans will select from among their number one Khan to lead all of them. And this one Khan is called the Il Khan. And that is the rough hierarchy of the warriors. Now, let's go back to talking about the trials. Before I start talking about the trials, I just have to explain one little thing. What the blood names are is they are the descendants of the 400 warriors who Nicholas Kerensky took with him to invade or to retake the Pentagon worlds. And there's more than just 400 blood-named warriors. There's more than 20 in each clan. Originally, it was, after a period of time, each blood name got 10 names assigned to it. And through various trials, they either reduced or increased these numbers. Some blood names, like the Kerensky blood name, actually have the full 20 still, because that was the maximum number that they could have. Some, like the Malthus blood name, are down to only 3 allowed blood names. Some have been reaved out of existence due to their failures, or due to their clan being annihilated, which we'll get into in a moment. So, among the clans, the trial system is everything. Their trials are not necessarily arguments. Technically, a clan warrior could challenge someone to a trial of a game of cards or something like that. But generally speaking, the trials that count come into two qualifiers: augmented or unaugmented. And they're trials of combat. An augmented trial is just the person. Maybe some hand-to-hand weapons. An augmented trial is your preferred means of combat. Your MOS, so to speak. And it's like an elemental in a power armor suit is not necessarily gonna beat that person in a light mech. So give it a damn good try. And you are, of course, expected to follow a certain code of honor, which I will get to in a moment. But the most common type of trial is the trial of grievance. This is where I disagree with you, you disagree with me, we can't work it out, I'm going to declare a trial, I'm going to call a trial of grievance with you, and we're going to beat each other up, or we're going to shoot each other up, or whatnot, and whoever wins was right. If you challenge your commander to a trial of grievance, it also acts as a trial of position. Trials of position are first off, when you are graduating out of your Sibco, every warrior goes through their first trial of position. And this is where they are set against 3 enemies. 1 lighter, 1 same weight, 1 heavier. And they get their first rank depending on how many of their opponents they take out. One opponent is your warrior. 2, you're a star commander, which means you command 5 mechs, or 5 points. A 3 kills, or 3 defeats of your opponents is a star captain, which means you command a trinary, or 3 stars. Very rarely you get those really, really good people who get 4 kills in their trial of position. And at that point, they are a star colonel, which means they command a cluster, which consists of 3 to 5 trinaries. And this means they also had to collaborate with their partner to do this, because they're having to take away one of their partner's kills. Theoretically, it's possible to kill 5, 6, to kill up to 6, but no one's ever actually done that. So we don't know what would happen in that case. But canonically, it's never happened. So later on, you generally have to do a trial every year to maintain your position. You can test up and you can test down. And these are significant because these are how you keep your combat edge when you're not fighting. Though, noting, if you win trials against other clans, they tend to waive the you have to trial for more. And they kind of watch how many opponents you defeat in a single battle without repairs, to just make sure you're maintaining your skill, that you're not letting your warriors take over for you. But when you go after something, that's called a trial of possession. This is what you would do to take a factory, a city, a group of warriors, genetic material from another clan, the rights to use said genetic material from another clan, etc., etc. Basically, anything that you can possess, even if it's sort of not tangible stuff, like the rights to use something, you would fight a trial of possession for it. Now, there are instances where you are judged on something. Where you are reprimanded by a superior, or where you did something that the clans consider a crime, you don't think it was a crime. Like, say, you burned a city down. Well, okay. You're being penalized for it. You can call for a trial of refusal. And the odds for a trial of refusal are based on how many voted against you. So let's say it was a 5-warrior tribunal that was held. 3 of the warriors found against you. 2 agreed for you. Well, you and another warrior under your command can be the ones who fight those 3. Noting you're not necessarily going to always want to take that, and they might bid away some of their forces because the clans abhor waste, and we're going to get to that in a bit. In fact, there's enough in a bit that this is going to be a 2-part video. So, the next 2 trials, are the rarest of all. These are sort of over-glorified trials of refusal. Trial of absorption. This is when a clan has done something so bad that the clan itself needs to be removed, but it hasn't been so bad that there's no hope for redemption of the warriors. And so the trial of absorption is fought. One clan gets the right to absorb another clan, and the clan that's being absorbed, gets to defend itself. And if it loses, it becomes part of the clan that was granted the right of absorption. The other trial has only ever, on the clan scale, been declared once. It has been used on smaller scales, but on the clan scale, it has only ever been used once. It is the trial of annihilation. When a trial of annihilation is declared, there is no hope of redemption. This clan, or these targets, don't even get to exist. Their names will be stricken from history. Their bloodlines will be destroyed. Their civilian castes, while not killed, will be sterilized to die out on their own. Trial of Annihilation is the ultimate sanction among the clans. There have been stars or galaxies that have had Trials of Annihilation declared upon them, but only one clan, Clan Wolverine, or the not named clan, was ever declared by the clans to be under a Trial of Annihilation. Even during the horrors of the Wars of Reaving, even though what the Star Adders did to Blood Spirit was a de facto annihilation, it still wasn't called an annihilation. It was called a trial of absorption. Because when a trial of annihilation is declared, all evidence of the annihilated is destroyed. Data banks with them are rewritten, to exclude that they ever existed. Anyone who has even a trace of their genetic material is killed. And yes, that means, let's say we're talking a small scale, where you have a warrior who has spawned 3 generations of children. Has one that's graduated in the clans full time, one that's just passing their trials of position, and one that's still in the Sibcos. And this warrior commits some horrific crime that gets judged for a trial of annihilation on him. And he loses his trial of refusal. The trial of annihilation itself, i.e., he's defeated. Which means he's dead. Because there's no, you fought honorably, I will take you as a bondsman. No. These are all fought to the death. He dies. And all 3 generations of his children are killed. They might even, just to be safe, destroy his parents' DNA. Just to be safe. And all records of him, all records of those who were killed, all his children, wiped clean. Don't exist. And so, next week, I will continue talking about the clans, because, as I said, there's so much. I'm going to get to this later. I might as well do 2 videos, because otherwise this will be a horrifically long video. So until next week, I'd like you all to remember to have fun and keep gaming.